After a magical 5 days in Walt Disney World, it's time to return home. But instead of flying, I decided to go to Kissimmee and extend my vacation 2 days with the help of Amtrak. Welcome to an epic voyage on rails, where you'll see one of my all-time greatest journeys. 44 hours in a railroad sleeper from Florida to Chicago. The Kissimmee station, closest to Walt Disney World, was originally built in 1910 for the Atlantic coastline, with renovations in 1976 and 1988. As you can see, it's very small, especially to include a staffed ticket office and checked baggage service. What you're seeing here is a Sunrail commuter train departing for Point Siena. At the Kissimmee station, the Sunrail and Amtrak platforms are separated by a pedestrian railroad crossing. Before my train gets here, the southbound Silver Star number 91 arrives 2 hours late from New York en route to Miami. A few minutes later, my ride has shown up, the northbound Silver Meteor number 98 from Miami. It's arriving around a half hour late after waiting in a siding for train 91. For the next 20 hours, I'm in car 9811, room 1. So I climb the steps to the middle sleeper and proceed to the first roomette on my left. But a few minutes after boarding, my sleeping car attendant came up and invited me to have lunch in the diner, which is 2 cars ahead. Thankfully, traditional dining has returned to Amtrak's Silver service last year. It's only served sleeper passengers until 3 months ago, when the dining car became public to coach passengers too. At 1:30 p.m., we depart Kissimmee running 33 minutes behind schedule. You'll notice that once the station building disappears, the Sunrail train platform comes into view. The next stop is Orlando. We are now departing Orlando. This was the first fresh air and smoke break of the trip, but I chose not to step off because I was having lunch. And by the way, we gained a high volume of passengers here in Orlando.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just boarded with us in Orlando, welcome aboard train 98 heading to New York with many intermediate stops. Each stop car is equipped with 2 restrooms, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep these restrooms clean as possible. Please do not throw any paper towels, any toilet tissues, any trash, of any such onto the restroom floor. Please do not throw any paper towels into the toilets. They will not flush and they will clog, ladies and gentlemen. And once they're clogged, they will be marked by service for the remaining of the trip. Also, we ask that all electronics have headphones at all times. Once again, all electronics must have headphones at all times. We ask that you wear shoes while moving throughout the train. Into the cafe, no shoes, no service. Once again, no shoes, no service. We also have a cafe car located in the center of the train, rear of the coaches, floor of all sleepers. Once again, the cafe car is rear of all coaches, floor of all sleepers. Non-smoking train, so we ask that you do not smoke under any circumstances. No smoking, no vaping under any such. Our next smoking stress stop will be out of Jacksonville. Once again, next smoking stress stop will be out of Jacksonville.
As we navigate through Orlando, I'm going to explain the Silver service a little bit. It's basically 2 trains, the Silver Star and Silver Meteor, both serving New York and Miami. However, the Silver Star is about 4 to 5 hours longer due to the fact that it goes a little out of the way to Tampa and through the Carolinas. Both the Silver Star and Meteor share tracks between New York and Selma, North Carolina, as well as between Savannah, Georgia and Miami, with the exception of that small stretch to Tampa that's only used by the Silver Star. The Silver Meteor runs on Amtrak's Northeast Corridor between New York and DC. South of DC, it mostly runs on CSX rails. However, there are some parts of the line that are owned by local commuter services in the DC, Orlando, and Miami metropolitan areas. What you're looking at here is the Sanford Amtrak Auto Train Station and Yard. So you see all those auto racks and all of those Superliner cars. Yep, that's the auto train, specifically this right here. And here we go over the St. Johns River. Down this way, it actually opens up into Lake Monroe. And here we are pulling into our 3rd station stop of the day, D-Land. So as you can see with the construction around here, they're actually expanding Sunrail service to D-Land. So they are working on some stuff around here. And on the left side of the train here, you can see the newly constructed Sunrail Island platform.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next station stop will be Palaca. Once again, our next station stop will be Palaca.
That's a weird noise there. But yeah, Sunrail should be starting service to DeLand here pretty soon. The platform is almost done with construction. While we are still traveling up the Sunshine State of Florida, I'm going to give you a tour of my sleeping car. This was manufactured in 2021. This is a Viewliner II, the newest fleet of Amtrak sleeping cars to this day. So we're walking into the sleeping car, and this room that you see right here is the wheelchair accessible bedroom. So you can see here we have a large sofa that turns into a bed at night, as well as an upper bunk, which you can also fold down at night. There are controls on both bunks for fans and lighting. Over here, you got your toilet and sink, nice and handy. And then through this, we have our shower. So that's what the shower looks like. So as you can see, we have our nice window. We have another one up top, but it is currently covered up by curtains. And they call this Viewliner because there's not only a window on the bottom bunk, but also the top bunk. So now we have just exited the wheelchair accessible bedroom, and this is one of 2 standard bedrooms on board an Amtrak Viewliner sleeping car. So as I enter, you can see the 2 windows right up here. And same with the accessible bedroom, we also have an upper and lower bunk. Here is a folding armchair, so theoretically if you could fit a third person in this room, they could sit right here. The ladder for the upper bunk is also kept right here. The sink, a trash container, and then right here is a storage cabinet for all sorts of toiletries. Here's the thermostat, the bathroom light controls, and this is the interior of the bathroom. It's pretty small, but actually when you step into it, it's actually pretty spacious. So there's a toilet, towels up top, and of course the shower. And don't forget here, there's actually a sliding door that you can open up and actually create a bedroom suite. So these are basically 2 bedrooms connected together. So now we are leaving the bedroom section of the Viewliner car, and as the hallway jogs back to the center, you can see we have a little beverage station with stuff like coffee, ice, water, juice, and stuff like that. We have 12 roomettes here. So now let me take you to the rear of the car, where we have 2 restrooms. I'll take you into one of them. And yeah, this is what the restroom looks like. Pretty cool. And then this is the shower. So we go inside the shower. This is where the used towels go after you take a shower. Little preparation table right there. Little blurred window. And then through this door with a nice little mural is, you guessed it, the shower. It's nice and spacious. And yeah, I love these new cars. Down there is car 9812, which is the rearmost sleeper. And we're walking back this way, which is the way to the dining car and the cafe car. Okay, so at this point we are about 10 minutes away from Jacksonville, Florida. This is going to be our next fresh air and smoke break, and contrary to popular belief, Jacksonville is actually the largest city in Florida. It's not Miami, it's Jacksonville. And there's the skyline right down there. Welcome to Jacksonville. We're going to be here for quite a while. Here are the P-42s that are getting refueled. To be honest, I'm a little bit ticked off that there's no ALC-42s leading this train, but we got to go with what we got. It's a long train today. 4 coaches, a cafe, the dining car, and 3 sleepers. Alrighty, it is time for some dinner in the dining car. I have a 7 o'clock reservation and my time was just called, so here we go. Welcome to Georgia. Cruising through Georgia right now at our top speed, 79 miles per hour. This is faster than the speed we traveled through most of Florida. Florida was a rather slow ride. I think our subdivision that we were traveling on had some kind of speed restriction due to the 90-degree weather. Yeah, it was pretty hot. But good news is we are back at cruising speed, and our next stop is Jessup, Georgia, coming up soon, followed by Savannah. fresh air brake in Savannah, Georgia. Starting in the rear of the train car 9812, we have the baggage car. This coach is closed off. Nighttime is upon us now, so I am going to show you how the upper bunk works. It's this handle right here. So you just pull it down. There are 2 tracks that this bed rolls on to go up and down. It's very neat. And then ultimately, once it is set up, I will have some blankets and pillows ready to go to sleep. This is a sheet for the lower bunk, but because I'm going to be sleeping up here, I don't need this. So I'm just going to put it somewhere else. I'm about to go to bed now. See you all in the morning. Here we come through Ashland. This place is very well known for its virtual railfan camera that we're going to see here in a second.
Which one? Sasha Fierce or you just regular? But she got like so many alter egos.
I don't know. It depends on my mood. The Illuminati, that's for the old. Have you a part of it? What would you? Mysterious. They do. And I saw you drag.
Let's go track now.
I got you. You always give me those type of vibes, though. I got a trick for you. You know God don't play about me. You know God don't play about me.
You know you're not supposed to be out there.
We are coming up on the Lorton Auto Train Station. Look at all those auto racks. This is where they put the automobiles. And we also have a Dash 8 locomotive in the yard. And a turntable, you don't see that every day. We are now merging onto Norfolk Southern trackage, and we can see the DC Metro in the distance right there. And here is the Metro yard. Here we have Metro train sets, old and new.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the station stop coming up shortly will be Alexandria. Please make your way to the nearest exit. Only when you see Amtrak, remember, now all doors will be opening once again. The station stop coming up is Alexandria.
We are now departing Alexandria, Virginia. There's the King Street Old Town Metro station right next door. And our next stop in about 15 to 20 minutes is Washington, D.C. Union Station.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, Washington will be our last stretch and smoke stop for this trip. Once again, Washington will be our last stretch and smoke stop for this trip. Also, ladies and gentlemen, due to the changing of the engine, we will be losing power in Washington. So therefore, the restrooms will not work. Please do not use the restrooms in Washington. If you have to use them now. Once again, we will be losing power due to the changing of the engine. If you have to use the restroom, please do so now. Once again, next station stop will be Washington.
Now that is a really fancy metro station right there, Potomac Yard. So to reiterate what they said about the power loss and engine change, what's going to happen when this train gets to DC is they're going to shut the power off and they're going to remove the P-42s and replace them with an ACS-64 electric engine that will take this train the rest of the way to New York City. Now they're doing this because the FRA requires there to be an electric engine on the Northeast Corridor. As I say that, here's Ronald Reagan Airport. Come on, trees, stop blocking my view every time. And here's a slightly better view of Ronald Reagan Airport. Here we go, about to cross the Potomac River now. We're about to go through the First Street Tunnel. This is the tunnel that goes under the city, taking Amtrak and VRE trains to Washington, D.C. Union Station from Virginia. And here we are, Washington, D.C. Union Station. Love the sound the door makes when it opens. Listen.
Now going home. Where did you start? With Ohio. That's one. Going home. Change trains to New York.
All right, bye-bye, Meteor. I love the art along here. Here's the station, and we're now going to go inside the Metropolitan Lounge. So there's the front desk right there. Looks like some luggage storage in there. This way leads to the restrooms, and then here is the main waiting room. We have a Northeast Regional train boarding. And by the way, my Cardinal train is almost to DC. It's on time. Got a little snack area right here. Some beverages to enjoy. Conference rooms. And yeah, this is a nice place to wait for your train. But nothing compares to the Moynihan Train Hall Metropolitan Lounge. That one is the best. I am pleased to report that my Cardinal train is on time. As you can see on the board behind me, it is almost here, and we're going to hop on board pretty soon to continue this wonderful journey to Chicago. Don't forget, the Cardinal is going to be much more scenic than the Silver Meteor.
What track is 51 on?
All right, here we go. We're now boarding the Cardinal. The train on my right here. So that's my Cardinal train right here. This is the Palmetto train, which is going down to Savannah, Georgia. And currently, both the Cardinal and Palmetto have their ACS-64 engines disconnected. So they're just about to get their new diesel engines here soon. Once again, hoping for an ALC-42 here. Interesting, they actually got an Amfleet 1 cafe here, Northeast Regional. And my room is actually going to be in the bag dorm. That's the very last car, not this sleeper.
No, we're both going south. But we go through.
But the next one. Morning. Right in here. And here we are. Oh my gosh. She is beautiful. I cannot believe this. We have an ALC-42 leading our train to Chicago. I am so excited. This will be a tour of a Viewliner II bag dorm car. So I'm looking into the vestibule right now, and as you enter the car, we have a little space for trash and the emergency talk box. Going down this way, we have 9 roomettes, which are shared by passengers and crew members. Here is a little recycling station. And then just like in a standard Viewliner II sleeper, we have the shower on the left and 2 restrooms on the right. But this way leads into the little baggage room. That's why they call it a bag door. Something I didn't get to doing on the Silver Meteor is a roomette tour. So I'm gonna bring that to you right now. Here's room number 5 on board car 5109. So when you enter the room, you will find 2 high back chairs. When you sit down, the seat cushion is actually really nice and soft, but the seat back is actually much firmer. You have a reading light, an area light, so if you want some additional light above your seat, you can turn that on. We have a call attendant button and PA speaker on-off button. This here is a control for the ceiling light. So I flip that switch, it turns the room light off. And now it's back on. If I flip the night light switch, it'll turn on a little blue night light right here. We have fans on the upper and lower bunks. They can be controlled using this little dial. We also have some fans right here that can be controlled using this little lever. And really nice part is the folding table. Very easy to pull out. Much easier on the Viewliner II to get these tables out than the Viewliner I, and especially the Superliner. Superliner sleeper folding tables are actually pretty tricky to unfold. Looking here, we have steps to get up to the upper bunk. Here's the mirror. Hello. Our sleeping car attendant was nice enough to put his name up there in all of the rooms. Got some towels, soap bars, a folding sink. So I fold it down. Hot and cold water. And then there's actually drains in the back. So when you close up the sink, the water will pour down the drain. Some cups are stored right here. We have power outlets on both sides here. Ceiling and nightlight controls are also located here. And then we're gonna close the door. This one is actually a little bit difficult to close there, but you can lock it as shown. And then with these curtains, you can join them together and Velcro them, so that way you have some added privacy. And up top is a luggage rack, which sits above the hallway in the car. So you can virtually put anything up there. And the reason they call it a Viewliner sleeper is because of the second window on the upper bunk. So that's really nice. We're gonna be departing any minute. And we're moving. We're back in Alexandria, now departing, but instead of going back south towards Richmond and those other places, we're gonna head west on Norfolk Southern Territory through Manassas and Culpeper and all other stops west towards Chicago.
Excavator. So let me see.
Not this side. Yeah. Excuse me, come in for.
There it is. The switch was misaligned because of the construction crew the night before. And then this happened.
We are now rolling through the village of Orange, Virginia. Up until here, we shared rails with Amtrak's Crescent and Northeast Regional. Coming into view is the track that those routes will take to head south. We are now on the infamous Buckingham Branch Railroad, which is notorious for its poor track conditions. Amtrak trains are generally supposed to rock back and forth a little bit while in motion, but it's pretty bad on this railroad. You'll really feel it as you stand up or walk inside the train. Prior to the Buckingham Branch, we've been on Norfolk Southern tracks since Alexandria.
Well, you have some well. We see y'all later.
Made it to Charlottesville, Virginia. Here's our beautiful ALC 42. And after this, we're gonna start climbing some mountains. Our departure from Charlottesville marks the start of an exciting 7 hours through some incredible Appalachian scenery. These views begin with the Blue Ridge Mountains, as you can see behind the small town of Crozet. Here we are in Stanton, which is not pronounced like it's spelled. It's a nice little mountain town, home of the Woodrow Wilson Presidential Library and Museum. We're now on our way through the Shenandoah Valley, which features charming towns, wineries, craft breweries, and outdoor adventures, including some of the most spectacular trails in the Old Dominion. It's dinner time now, and I'm back in the cafe car for flexible dining service. I went for the beef burgundy with a roll on the side and some water. At this point in the trip, we're crossing the Allegheny Mountains. This majestic and rugged landscape provides a stunning backdrop as you travel through the region. We are now stopping in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia, and that red building is the Christmas Shop Depot, which is open all year. White Sulphur Springs is home to the historic Greenbrier Resort. And now here's the most popular section on the Cardinal route, the New River Gorge. This was established as a national river in 1978 and redesignated as a national park in 2020. It stretches for 53 miles from just downstream of Hinton, where we just stopped, to Hawks Nest State Park near Ansted. The New River is among the oldest rivers in all of North America. Whitewater rafting and rock climbing are popular activities here. This is Prince, West Virginia, and in about 20 minutes we will be stopping in the famous Thurmond station. Thurmond is the smallest town to have an Amtrak station in. Only 5 residents. Now, just look at how quickly the train accelerated, thanks to the magic of the ALC 42. And here it is, Thurmond, West Virginia.
Yeah, they're just here and there.
Hi.
Hello.
Maybe it was a stop so we can get off the wall.
I'm working on it.
Historic. Alright guys, so we are getting later into the evening here, and our next stop is Huntington, West Virginia, the last stop before we cross into Kentucky. Huntington is going to be another fresh air break. That is where we'll change crews. This crew, conductors and engineers, have been with us since Charlottesville, and we have actually not had a fresh air break since then. So 8 hours is pretty long without a fresh air break. Now, if you see the red light in the background, that's actually because the sink light, which would normally be illuminated if the sink is down, is permanently illuminated for some reason. I think it might be broken, but I'm not sure why. I'm just loving the ride here. This is my first time in a bag dorm. This is the rearmost car on the Cardinal. Our ALC 42 is doing a phenomenal job leading this train. I actually talked to the worker that was coupling it up to our train in DC. She said that they're actually planning to add pantographs to the ALC 42 or the car behind it. And what's going to happen is the ALC 42 will eventually serve as a dual mode locomotive. So let's talk about a station, for example, Washington, D.C. With the new pantographs on the ALC 42s, what would happen is instead of swapping out engines, what they'll do instead is they'll raise or lower the pantographs. Now, some amazing news. We actually departed Charleston, West Virginia 12 minutes behind schedule. And once we get to Huntington, there's actually a good chance we're gonna leave Huntington on time at 9:51. And I say that because, remember, Huntington is an extended stop. The scheduled arrival is 9:44, and the scheduled departure is 9:51. So we could arrive around 9:45 or 9:46, but no matter what, I think we can make it out on time at 9:51. All right, after 8 hours straight on the train, we have made it to Huntington, West Virginia, our last fresh air stop of the night. We actually got here about 5 minutes early after departing from Charleston about 12 minutes late. So yeah. We are now slowing to a stop in Ashland, Kentucky. So Ashland is the largest city in Kentucky that Amtrak serves out of the 4 total. The 4 cities in Kentucky that Amtrak serves are Ashland, South Shore, and Maysville on the Cardinal, and Fulton on the city of New Orleans. Amtrak doesn't go through Louisville, Lexington, Frankfort, or any of the large cities in Kentucky, but hopefully with the proposed rail services, Amtrak will somehow make it to either one of those cities. But we gotta see. We are currently stopped in a CSX freight yard in Russell, Kentucky for a mandatory engine refuel. So we're gonna be here for about 10 to 15 minutes before proceeding west along the Ohio River towards Cincinnati. And to all, a good night. All right, good morning from Indiana. We left Indianapolis on time at 6 a.m. and our next stop is going to be Crawfordsville. Now, the train did incur about a half-hour delay in Maysville, Kentucky. However, the good news is we made up that time in Indianapolis and ended up leaving on time again. So yeah, with the mountains behind us, we are now rolling through the farmlands of Indiana, and at this point we are just over 4 hours away from Chicago.
They're actually made to meet the EPA Tier 4 standards, which is
It's still gasoline combustion.
right. It does more with less, basically.
Right. Well, I wouldn't want you giving away trade secrets or anything. My son-in-law in California actually works for Siemens. He's in the automotive computer programming end of it.
Wheels are called wheels, but the basically there's two sets of wheels and a piece of metal connecting them, and then connected to the train. That metal part is called, that chassis that's connecting it is called the boat.
Okay. And I found out a way to get back that was not flying. It was not the train, but it was actually more economical than the train.
Was it a bus?
No, you get for every guess I'll give you another hint. Okay. All right. So it wasn't a bus. I said it was more economical, even though it cost just a little bit more than the train would have, because the way I went back, they had to feed me for 15 days.
Was it a taxi?
No.
Hiding in the back of a milk truck?
No. Okay. Hold on. You get another hint now. You get another hint. Gosh, I haven't played this in so long. What is the other hint that I give? Okay. It involved the Panama Canal.
Oh, shit.
We're going over the Monon level junction right here.
If you want the guest rewards department specifically, there's a separate number for that.
Guest rewards, okay, and that's your office.
Yes, that's our department.
Okay. Yeah, you're just better off just look at the room.
That's my personal recommendation.
The saga
If you want to try to lock it
continues.
up, you're more than welcome to. Just know
Yeah.
that
You know, dealing with the one who is with me, I understand that let other people come in. And so she's got a sense of know, we got to the point during.
Ever wondered why this route is called the Cardinal? Well, Amtrak named it after the state bird of the 6 states it travels through: Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Virginia. This was back in 1977 when the Cardinal only used to go to Washington, D.C. And even though the service is extended to New York now, the name remains the Cardinal. Also, the Cardinal is one of only 2 Amtrak long-distance routes that only operates 3 times a week. Eastbound train number 50 departs Chicago on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Westbound train number 51 departs New York on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Amtrak is working to upgrade the Cardinal to run daily and actually increase speeds between Indianapolis and Dyer. We are now departing our final intermediate station stop, Dyer, Indiana. From this point, it is about 1 hour to Chicago Union Station. Currently slowing down because we will be switching from the CSX Monon subdivision to Canadian National trackage here. We're gonna be on a wide variety of railroads the rest of the way, including Norfolk Southern, Metra, BRS, Canadian National. That's a lot of railroads in 1 hour, so here we are diverging onto the Canadian National trackage now. Going over the Metra electric tracks. Those tracks are not only used by Metra electric trains, but also Canadian National, as well as Amtrak's Illini, Saluki, and City of New Orleans. We are currently passing a Norfolk Southern rail yard and about to merge on the NS Chicago line. Since I'll be off the train in about 10 to 15 minutes, let me deliver my final thoughts. First off, did I call this an epic voyage on rails for nothing? Most certainly not. This was one of the greatest railroad trips I've ever taken, and it was from Disney World too, which makes it even more special. As for the Silver Meteor, I was a bit disappointed there weren't chargers leading, but that doesn't go without saying I really enjoyed my first ride on board Amtrak in Florida. While the views can't compare to the Cardinal, the Silver Meteor occasionally has its scenic spots, like downtown Orlando and the Potomac River. The consist is longer and features traditional dining service, which is almost the tip of the iceberg there. On the other hand, the Cardinal typically has a 5-car consist. The cafe car is where flexible dining is served, which I'm not the biggest fan of. However, there is no doubt that the Cardinal is one of Amtrak's most beautiful trips, going through the New River Gorge and Appalachian Mountains. It's even prettier in the fall, when the leaves on the trees change color. At one point last year, I was hoping that ALC 42s would eventually enter service on the Cardinal. Not only did that hope come true, but I got to ride behind an ALC 42 on the Cardinal. That made me smile from ear to ear. Now about phone reception. I was very pleased with it, especially on the Cardinal. Wow. You're going through mountains where you're likely to lose cell service, but surprisingly the reception on my phone worked almost perfectly for me. I was very impressed. One more thing that really stood out to me over these 2 days was that I rode in a Viewliner II sleeping car the entire time. I love the Viewliner IIs. They're quieter, with a more modern look than their predecessors, and I just love riding with Amtrak's new equipment. I'll tell you, whether we're arriving or departing Chicago, this is my favorite side to sit on because I'll get to see all the different Amtrak equipment that's in the yard right here. So we have our locomotive shop, which features all sorts of locomotives from P-42s to Chargers. Not much out there, though we're gonna see a lot more train cars here. See that bridge up there? That's actually the St. Charles Airline Bridge. Got some more Chargers out here. Some Ventures and Superliners. And Horizons. And that's actually a Venture Cafe car. I can't wait for the Venture Cafes to be put in service. Got some rain coming now. You can barely see it on the window, but those are some raindrops. And there's 174, the very first Amtrak P-42 to be repainted in Phase 7 livery. In fact, that first run of 174 was out of Beech Grove, which is outside Indianapolis. It is basically on the Cardinal. So basically they picked it up in Beech Grove along the way, and then 174 started leading the Cardinal the rest of the way to Chicago. And we are just about to emerge into the Union Station South Concourse Tunnel. And that looks like train number 319, which will be going to Kansas City. All right, we have made it. Looks like we're going to the other car to D-train. Borealis has been in service for almost 2 weeks now. We're not riding it today, but potentially a future Amtrak journey. We are now taking the Metro home, and that will do it for this trip report. What a fantastic voyage on rails from Kissimmee, Florida to Chicago, Illinois. Thank you everybody for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.